Horses en Shanghai. Early on, they were taught how to ride their horse backwards. For many reasons, it could save them to know this trick. A herd of children riding their ponies backwards made you think you were seeing things. You could fool someone distant long enough to gain sufficient ground to escape, then expecting you to get closer, but instead you move smaller away. And when having to aim at the predator coming from behind, the shot to bring him down. Every child that could ride, forward or backwards, was a trick of the eye, horse magic. They were taught to disappear beside the horse, to flatten against his ribs, one leg hooked over his hip or shoulder, disappear into a herd, hide when passing enemy camp. And then to ride the neck, to swing freely up and down off the ground, the horse's head lifting you up on his back. The skill and speed was not acquired by all, but Water Willow was one with her horse. When she's just 7 or 8 years old, a smallpox epidemic comes to their valley. As we know, thousands of people, millions of natives were killed by these epidemics. And this is what happens in September of 1843. Funeral pyre. Pere, wat e che. Water Willow saw her father, mouth agape like a grounded fish, her mother's body wrapped around her little brother, cradle board dangling from her charred arms. She saw the flames eat their bodies like sticks of tinder. She smelled their burning flesh and stinking hair. The smell of funeral fires is what woke her, floating in and out. She saw the dead inside their homes, weapons, clothes, their sacred things, tobacco and medicine bundles going up in great clouds of smoke. They burned the dead and all they touched. Mourning cries, a ceaseless wailing, rose with the flames piercing. Dogs howled and roamed the camp, rib hungry. Those remaining standing moved on. Water Willow saw ears up, skinny, dragging few possessions on a small travois alongside her. She saw herself, a swaddled sack, bundled down there, packed onto travois, dragged by red pony. So alone, Nanjin Mantin carried them all on the trail away. Grandmother did all she could to remain standing. Water Willow's dreaming eyes shut tight. Along the trail away, Grandmother fed her tea of sage and cedar, rubbed wild onions onto her feet, poured coneflower concoctions and bee balm into her parched throat, thrashed her more with stinging nettie to bring the blood rushing to keep her skin. She felt none of it, tasted nothing, saw no time passing, merely saw her body there, Grandmother tending it, remembered, dreaming. Great crowds, faces empty, but for the black hole mouths gasping, walking, crawling, writhing, as if air was water and could not satisfy their breath, faceless mouths sucking the air dry, hot and burning, hissing, grappling with each other, faces drowning in fire that turned to red water, deep swallowing water. She decided she could not breathe, but she could swim up for air. She could swim this wide water back to her people, tuck her arms when waves pulled under. She saw rolling wheels churn all around her, scraping sand against her burning skin until something in the dark pulled her out and squeezed breath back into her. Water Willow woke in the new camp, not knowing how she got there, not remembering anything but fear and fire and water, not remembering crowds drowning, wheels turning, her people dying, and here she was, still alive.